John Moore's lived the kind of life that you read about in novels and seen in movies. He's a decorated veteran of Vietnam, where he flew 57 combat missions. John started his career as an intelligence analyst with the United States Military Intelligence, and that was in 1967. His 3-year tour of duty with military intelligence included a year in the United States Army Special Forces with the Green Berets. And since 1973, John has been a homicide investigator, private detective, and a radio talk show host. John maintains very close contact with the men he served in the military intelligence, going back to his days at the U.S. Military Intelligence School. John offers access to intelligence information few even know exists. John's insider knowledge of the truth behind the deception of global warming is very unique and can help save the lives of those who are here to listen today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce John J.R. Moore.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you. We've got a lot to cover today. We have a limited amount of time. What you'll be hearing in this presentation is a very compact version of what's taking me literally 27, 28 years to learn. I've interviewed dozens of people, read thousands of pages of books, watched a number of documentaries, and still get new information every week on this topic of global warming from my confidential sources. This topic, as far as the U.S. government is concerned, is one of the most highly classified matters that the government deals with. Highly classified and highly compartmentalized. People will sometimes flippantly say, well, an organization like the federal government of the United States can't keep secrets. Well, I assure you that they can keep secrets. Absolutely they can. The example I use is the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was the project to build atomic weapons in World War II. Literally, tens of thousands of people, including my father and my grandfather, both worked on the Manhattan Project. Very few of those people had a clue what they were doing. My father and my grandfather were plumbers, and they worked down at Oak Ridge, Tennessee on the Manhattan Project. Yes, indeed, the government can keep secrets. And this matter of the truth behind global warming is one of the most important secrets that they have. The first thing I'll ask you this question. Would the federal government of the United States of America lie to you? That's the response I expect. Laughter. Of course they would. And they have for decades. Because of what I do and what I do professionally, I interact with people involved with law enforcement, including the FBI. I was working on a project with a couple of FBI agents, and we're having lunch one day, and we'd gotten to know each other a little bit. And I thought, well, I'll ask this guy the question, what happened with John Kennedy when he was shot? Now, the man I was asking, this was not just a run-of-the-mill FBI agent. He was a supervisory level FBI agent. Within a few years of retirement, he's now retired. And I kind of put him in a box because if he told everything he knew, he was jeopardizing his career and his pension. But if he said, John, oh, the Warren report was exactly accurate, then I would know that he was a nutcase, because nobody believes the Warren report. So here was his answer. It was a very creative answer. This is from a supervisory level FBI agent regarding the Kennedy assassination. His answer was 2 words: creative forensics. Now, that let me know that he knew. What every person who's looked at it carefully knows is that the Kennedy assassination was not what we've been told it is. A couple of personal things when it comes to secrets and how military intelligence knows about things before they happen. First week of May, 1967. I'm 19 years old. I'm in a military intelligence school, and I got assigned for a Sunday morning, what they call a dining room orderly. My assignment was to be in the officers' mess where they served breakfast on Sunday morning, stand at parade rest, and whatever the colonels and the majors wanted, if they wanted coffee, I go get it. If they want toast, I go get it. Stand there at parade rest, eyes straight ahead, and just wait on the officers. One colonel is talking to another colonel. Now, this is military intelligence school, and these are field grade officers in military intelligence. First week of May, 1967. One colonel says to the other colonel, you know, those Golan Heights are going to break loose any day now. First week of May, 1967. What happened 4 weeks later? The Six-Day War. Yeah, they knew. They knew. Fast forward just a few months, September 1967. Now, I see some folks in here old enough to remember the Tet Offensive of 1968 in Vietnam, end of January 1968, which took place only 2 months after General Westmoreland gave his famous light at the end of the tunnel speech to a joint session of Congress, December 1967, where General Westmoreland told the joint session of Congress that Viet Cong were defeated on the battlefield, could no longer mount a credible offensive. I get to Vietnam in 1967 in September. By the end of September, I knew about the Tet Offensive at the end of January 1968, 4 months before it happened, 5 months before it happened. I knew about it, and I was getting ready for it. Everybody else found out the last week of January 1968. You better betcha, the people in military intelligence, they know about things before they happen. I know about things before they happen, even now, because I've maintained my contacts inside military intelligence. What you're going to learn today is known by the major world governments. I doubt the president of Zimbabwe knows what we're going to talk about, but the heads of England, Canada, United States, Russia, China, they all know, and they're making preparations. The Vatican knows, and I have some local connections there that I know about the Vatican and what they're doing. The Fortune 100 companies, they're getting ready and being prepared. My first-hand awareness began in year 2000. Two different men, friends of mine, they're both researchers. They approached me and they said, John, there's this thing that's going to happen. We're not sure about the date, but it's going to happen. When it does, there's going to be abrupt climate change. There's going to be 200-mile-an-hour winds. There's going to be massive tidal winds. And I said, yeah, sure, give me a break, you know. But I knew these men well enough that I trusted what they told me, and I went to a confidential source and I said, check this out. I need to find out if this is true. And my confidential source, a friend of mine, he says, oh, John, you know, that's silly. That can't be real. But he trusted me and knew me well enough to check it out. He gets back with me a few weeks later. And he says, John, it's exactly what you said it is. It's coming. It's going to hit us. It's going to hit us hard. And there's going to be 200-mile-an-hour winds. And there's going to be massive tidal waves and earthquakes and all the rest of all the things that you said. That was in the summer of 2000. Here we are 9 years later. Today being March the 29th, 2008. My research has continued. I've continued to develop my sources and put the whole thing together so I can make